Welcome back to Morgan's video blog, Morgan's online blog in video format. Today, I'm here to talk to you about what conventions are looking for in panelists. So, you've published a book and now you gotta market yourself? You've done the Facebook ads and the giveaways and the whatever, but now you're supposed to do like craft shows and conventions and stuff. However, before you go blast emailing every convention and book fair within driving distance, you should know that there is a right way to do this and a not so right way. While some shows just want your money and they'll give you a table, some conventions and events are a little pickier. So, first, before you apply or send out an email or ask whatever you're going to do, know who you're talking to. Step one, right there. If you're reaching out to a convention, make sure you've done your research. If it's a larger convention or event, you should be asking about the time they're wrapping up last year's event. They're already booking people then. The smaller the show is, the closer to the event that you can ask to be on the show or get a table or what have you. But 3 months out is pretty tight. 6 months out is probably the sweet spot for a lot of conventions and shows and things. Make sure you know what year the convention is. Don't be emailing to be on CoolCon 12 if it's the 20th anniversary. Pay attention, do your research. Make sure that the convention or event is on brand for you. Make sure it's the right genre, the right age group. You don't want to go to a murder mystery place if you write cozy romances. You know, just make sure that it's the right event for you. And once you've emailed a convention and someone's replied, use their name. It's in there, usually with a little signature tag. It's always rude when you reply to someone and then they reply back using your title and not the way you signed it. If someone has signed an email, reply the way they signed it. Secondly, respect the convention's process. Everyone does their thing differently. Everyone. And the convention you're applying to has probably been there before. They have a process. They know what works for them. Every con does things differently. That doesn't mean that they're wrong. Be sure to follow this year's directions for this convention. Maybe you've been going to this con for like the last 5 years, but something didn't work last year and so they changed the process. Don't just keep acting like it was the same process from the last 3 years. Follow the new directions. Or if it's a convention you've never been to before, don't reply with what another convention would have needed. Actually reply to what they're asking. Give them what they ask for, when they ask for it, in the format that they asked for it. The easier you are for the convention to work with, the more eager they'll be next time you ask to come back. Or maybe next time they'll ask you. So, next, have something unique to offer. There are, unfortunately, tons of debut authors. And sure, you can give a reading, but if you're not big enough to draw an audience on your own, that's not actually adding much value for the convention. The best way for them to accept your offer to panel is to give them something, offer something that they don't already have. Do you have a large following? Obviously, that's what we all want. A unique specialty, maybe you're a history buff, or you have knowledge about cutting-edge technology and space and physics and I don't even know. Maybe you have a career as a detective or a lab technician, you know, or a police officer, you know, a lot of those careers that make for good storytelling. Are you a good storyteller? Do you have experience with a niche that is popular this year? Are you an experienced moderator? They're always looking for moderators for panels. And basically, if you can speak, basically they want to know, can you speak confidently on a panel for something that's gonna draw a large crowd, not just, you know, whoever's bored this hour. And that goes to our final point. Be a good speaker. Now, you don't have to be an amazing and dynamic speaker to get on a panel, although it certainly helps. Conventions know that the only way to become a great panelist is to be on panels. Most of us have to start and build our way up. But there are some speaking skills that are going to go a long way toward getting you asked to come back. First, have clear and concise answers. You don't want to confuse the audience or waste panel time when they're all waiting to answer the question too. Which goes to the next point. Be courteous to the other panelists. Don't talk over them. Don't insult them. Yes, you want to disagree with them. You want some interaction. But you don't have to be mean and you don't have to be rude. Thirdly, don't relate everything back to your book. We know you are there to get name recognition and to sell your book. We know that. That's 9 times out of 10 why someone is on a panel. But it is very heavy-handed and just makes you sound like a one-trick pony. You are more than just your book. If you're interesting, the people are probably going to want to know what you wrote about. But if you clobber them over the head with everything you wrote about in your book, they feel like they've already read it and they don't really need it. And finally, be passionate about the subject. Excitement can be contagious, as can boredom. If you're just giving rote, polite answers, the audience is just gonna think you're phoning it in because you are. So now these are just tips on how to be a good panelist. Being a great panelist, well, that's another video post in itself. It is hard to put yourself out there. Writing is typically a solo activity, usually attracting people who like being alone, at least for some period of time. Marketing one's work is often the opposite of everything we like to do. Our face is our brand. Our books are our children. And now we're supposed to put a monetary value on something that we've bled our hearts and souls into to convince people to read it and then judge it online. If anyone finds an easier way, let me know. Good luck getting on panels at conventions. Hopefully they're still around and kicking when group activities are back on the table. Are there any other tips I've missed for being attractive as a panelist for conventions? Let me know in the comments below. As always, please subscribe, tell all your friends and family, follow me on my blog and Twitter and all this stuff, and tune in again next week for more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye-bye.